Hi everyone, we are going to be making pico today, and I have here some cilantro, we have some tomatoes, we have an onion, we have some lemons, a lemon and a lime, and then we're going to be adding black beans. Then I also have 1 can of diced tomatoes. First, I've already rinsed. I have 2 bundles of cilantro, and I'm going to cut this one. I've already cut the first one, and I like to cut it. They have big, large stems here, so I like to cut it above the paper or the tie that they have, so that way I'm not getting into the larger stems at the bottom. And I'll just toss that. And then what I'm going to do is since I've rinsed it, I just go through it. The larger stems, you can see they point out, they kind of stick out. I usually just pull it apart from there. And I always check the leaves, make sure there's nothing rotten in here. No large, I don't want it stemmy. No one wants to eat a bunch of stems. Just kind of break it off with your hands. See how thick those are? Nobody wants to eat those. Be eating like trees. This is a little bit of prep work. Really good though. We like to use it on top of everything. We eat it with chips. Eat it with all kinds of things. I'll bake with it. I'll put it in my chicken, or I'll put it on top. And sometimes if it gets really juicy, I'll use the juice to marinate my chicken. And we'll either grill it or bake it. It's really good. Okay. A couple more. This one was a little bit stemmy. Just have a trash can sitting right beside me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this up here in a minute. But first, I want to start with my base. Now, my base is going to consist of a few things. And I'll explain as I go. Goodness. Okay. That's good. I'm just going to set this off to the side. Put that in there. Okay. I'm going to clean up my workspace real quick. All right, so what I've done is I have a mason jar, and I've learned that this will actually work with a blender. That being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of liquid first of my diced tomatoes. And I'm just using regular diced tomatoes, nothing specific. You can use any flavors. This one says basil, garlic, and oregano. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my cilantro. And I usually do 1 bundle of chopped, blended cilantro in my mason jar. And I like to call this my base of all my seasoning. This is what gives the juices that I want. Now, not everybody likes to do it this way. I get it. But I kind of like to do it this way only because I like the extra blended flavors. I'm just trying to get some moisture in here. Now I may have to do this a second time. Okay, and my lid is... it's just, I'm not like liquefying it completely, but I'm just pureeing it. And that's all I have it on is diced, and it says salsa. That's it. That's all I need. Okay, so we're going to add the cilantro and the pureed diced tomatoes in the bowl. We're going to set that to the side. Now, I'm going to start with my dicing my tomatoes. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have about 7 romaine tomatoes. It depends on how much you want to make. So this will depend on you and the portions and how many. But I am doing 7 diced tomatoes. And my tomatoes, I'm not going to dice them small. I'm going to dice them roughly so everybody has a bite. So it's just a nice chunk. So that, you know, something you put on a cracker or a chip or something. And then I'm just going to put them in the bowl as we go. I'm going to move my bowl over. We're just putting it in there. Okay. Okay, so we're going to finish this up. And we only have 2 more left. All right. Oops, forgot to cut the top. Now we're going to rinse these. Oops, gotta make sure the top comes off. All right, that's the end of that. I'm going to wipe the board off. And we're going to make sure we have a clean board. Okay, now we're going to do our onion. It's up to you how much onion you want. If you want to add the onion, you don't have to. Yeah, I like to just peel the layer off. I always find the first layer is always just a little too chewy for me. Okay, so what I do is I cut it in half, just like tomatoes. And however big chunks you want of your onion. Some people don't like a lot of chunky onion. So after I cut it in half, I'm going to cut it in half again, but not all the way through. It holds it together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here and I'm going to make slices like that. I'm not going to fuss with it too much because I don't want my eyes to start watering. See how nice and they come out really nice. And if you find a few that are too big, just cut them. It's all about how you want it, how you like it, and how you would like to, what textures you like. A couple of big pieces. That's a big piece too. And then this one is a smaller on the end, so I just chop it up. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and add the next onion only because I like this one. I like all the texture of the onion. gosh, I need to save some for tonight, don't I? Yep. Let's put it in this. It's true, but I don't want to. Okay, and we're just going to put these onions in here. Rinse my board off because onions are starting to get to me. Alright. Now I'm going to start working on my cilantro. I like a clean board. Okay, so this is about a bundle from what I had because I started with 2. Okay, so on the cilantro, I made sure all the stems were pretty much gone, and I'm doing a rough chop on the cilantro. So if it's too much to start with, just back it away a little bit, start with a smaller one, and you're just going to bundle it up the best you can. There's no science to it. You're just going to start chopping. Don't, the thing is that when you chop, it's like lettuce, you don't want to bruise it too much. You just want to chop it. Because if you keep going over it, you mush it, and it becomes wilted and kind of has a smear look, like it's been beat. You don't want to go crazy over it. Just want enough to where you're getting a flavor, and it's a chopped. You don't want a whole leaf in your mouth. And just like that. Start with the next bundle. And make it into a little fold here. Just gently just press down and it cuts easy. Don't cut yourself. And then you just, I kind of like to say turn it a little bit. I like to do a 2-chop just so that it gets a little finer. You can tell it's sticking to me, it's a little leafy. And that's what you want. Nice. Okay. Do I have any more? Yep, I have one more. All right, real quick. This is gonna be nice. I love the flavor of cilantro. I just seem to not get enough of it. It's like garlic. I just love the smell. little stemmy. You don't want it, you'll be eating a bunch of stems and it takes away from it. You can feel them. I mean, a few stems are fine, but when you know they feel like wood, it's like it's too much. They need to go. I usually look through them when I buy them. You can usually tell if they're going to be oversized like that. You don't want them like that. That's too thick. Just means I left them out on the field too long. They need to be a little bit thinner. Like, no, that one's too thick. A little bit thinner than that, like these, where they're not so significantly going to be tasted. I love when cilantro first comes out at the first of spring. It's so fresh smelling. This isn't too bad, but this might have been an older crop. I like using a cutting board. It makes things easier. I don't like cutting on my counter. We'll cut it up. And about done. Okay. Nice. I'll throw that out. All right, so now we're going to start with putting the lemon inside, the lemon and the lime. Now, before I do that, I do want to add my black beans. I use 1 can of rinsed black beans. Now, I'm going to put I have a strainer here for my lemons and my limes, and I'm going to rinse them off. You never want to just start cutting on them. They've been everywhere, and you never know if they've been dropped or whatever at the store and who's handled them. The same way with all your other fruits and vegetables. You always want to rinse them off. Okay, so on a lemon, you want to roll it. Sorry, I should have showed you this first. You want to roll it before you use it. The same way with your lime. What you're doing is you're loosening the juices. So we're going to do that. Same with the lime. And it just takes a minute just to kind of get the juices flowing. You can always say you got a good lemon because everybody talks about how hard they are. I like my little soft because when they're hard, they don't give me as much juice. And I like to use fresh. I don't want that in my stuff. All right. So back we go. Now I'm gonna cut these in half. And I will tell you, I use my fingers. It doesn't bother me. I first start a few pokes. And I put the strainer here for seeds. All right. And I pretty much just go upside down with it. And I just make sure I use it all. Give it a good squeeze. And just tear into it. I don't mind my hands smelling like lemon. Now, if you got one of those handy dandy little squeezers for your lemons, that'd be great. Same way with the next one. I believe in using what you got, and you got your 2 hands. I will tell you though, they will burn if you got a couple cuts on them. There was quite a few seeds in this one, you can see. So that kind of saved me a headache. And I'm just going to leave it there when I start on my lemon as well, on my lime. Okay, and I'm going to cut my lime in half, same way. And I'm going to do it this exact same way. You're like, why lemon and lime? I find it gives it more flavor. See how much juicier this is? And this wasn't hard at all. It was very soft. Not like overly where it was rotten. It was just fresh. You can tell the difference. Lots of juice. See, it's not dried out. Sometimes they leave them on the shelf and you can't even get anything out of them. Nice. All right, that looks great. I'm going to do the next one, the other half. And I don't really get a big splash back from it. I'm not like going crazy with it. My main concern is trying to get all of it inside the bowl. And there's 1 lemon and 1 lime. Just making sure I squeeze all the little juice pockets. All right. The essence left. We're going to make sure we get it. All right. Rinse my hands off. Now, I will tell you, I like to use a little bit of salt. Not a lot. Just a good sprinkle. And then I always like to add just a tad of garlic. I don't like to add raw garlic in there. Not everybody wants to bite into it with garlic, so I just use granule garlic right now. Now, if you're wanting a little bit of color, like a little bit of jalapenos or little peppers, I mean, you're welcome to add it. See, and it's really nice. I like the color. People add corn to it. Corn's fine. I just, I'm not a big fan of corn right now where it's not on my diet because it is a carb. And we're trying to stay away from all that. So Pico does really well with just the black beans. If you want to add something, you can add those little yellow peppers. Okay, so I've got a few bell peppers and some red and yellow. Or actually, they're orange. I'll put them in here and see what they look like. Might give it a little bit more color. Oh, yeah. Very pretty. Nice. All right. And let's see. Let's see what it tastes like. It's going to be a good stir. All right, so I'm going to try it. The Pico and see how it tastes. Oh, it looks good. Doesn't it look good? Oh, yeah. I need to eat without the chip. There you go. And I love the lemon and the lime. And the cilantro goes perfect with it. Bye. Y'all enjoy.